Classical drawing is telling the story of visual reality in the terms of these cues. And so it's only giving you the information that the eye wants.
Let's walk down to the other end.
Credo che il modo migliore sarebbe di fare 5 marche here, 5 marche, poi con la linea, tac. So the first line we're going to make chalk line. I need to have some chalk line volunteers. All right. Oh no, I've got my group. Sorry. All right. The first chalk line is going to go from here 60 feet to the other white spot. Well, I stopped work for NASA, got on the plane, couldn't speak Italian. No idea about, I had never been to any country like to Italy. I'd been maybe 2 days in Mexico. I packed up everything, had my little backpack, a trunk, and I went to Rome. Poof. In 1982 in Rome, I started doing what everybody else did, which was great for my own studies, which was copying masterpieces. That was just like you would have done in the 18th century, but I was in the street doing it. That worked really well. And then I copied all the masterpieces that I felt I wanted to copy. So I got bored with that, and then I started just inventing pieces, but in a classical style. But then the people would come up and they'd say, well, you know, is this a Michelangelo? Is this a Caravaggio? Who did this?
It's a court winner.
Yeah, it's a court winner. And then I found out they didn't believe me at all. So I had all of these interests, and when I went to Rome, of course, I got to see the church ceilings. I had friends that were restorers, and we'd climb the scaffolding, and we'd look at the things up close. I got interested in the idea of taking the geometry of a Baroque church ceiling down to the street. And there was no way to know it would work because the conditions on the street are completely different. It's not so much about the fact you're looking down on the work and across. It's about the fact how close you are and the angle of view. The angle of view on a Roman church ceiling isn't that great. It's usually under 90 degrees. And when I started to compose for the street, I was dealing with 120 to 160 degrees. So there was a lot more story to be told and a lot more distortions to take into consideration. When I started, you'd be sitting on the street and somebody would think you were a drug addict or drunk or something, and then, you know, until you had the drawing in, it was rather embarrassing to be sitting on the street. You know, once you had a couple of nice heads in and people could see your skill, that went away.
You're one of the founders, of course, of this whole 3D.
Well, I really hate the words "one of the founders," because I really did do it and demonstrate it and teach it and for 10 years before anybody else did it. So to say one of the founders when you did it for 10 years and you helped other people do it and you brought it all over the world before anybody else, it was a long time before other people could do it. So this one actually is going to have to be a little more pronounced, have a little edge to it. And then this one instead should be actually longer. You know, pavement art shows the process. It demystifies the process. And the pavement artist, you know, really lays his soul out, really, on the street. And so when you lay your creative process out on the street in front of people, it's very vulnerable. Yeah, it's scary even, you know, at first. But you're also communicating. I mean, it's like poetry in a way. You're trying to communicate something very profound by doing that. It's the act of laying yourself out there and showing how you make an idea come into the real world.